Hello Wargamers, it's me Callum from TableTopBanter, and today we have another video for you. So in today's video we are going to go over the list building series I've done, how to build a list, or let's build a list, and we're going to cover the first of many different lists, and I'm going to go over the ideas behind it. Not too much stuff on the actual building of the list, because this is more of a concept, if you will. So I'm going to talk about themed lists. Now, theme lists are lists that you have given a limitation yourself. For example, I'm going to play all scouts in Landspeeder Storms. When you go to build this theme list, that is the limitation you've given yourself. No one else has put it there, but at the same time, that's obviously what you want to do. So what's the best way of making these themed lists work? And is there a place for them in competitive play? Now I'm going to start with the how do we make them work, and then we'll go into the competitive play a little bit later on. So making them work, it's quite simple. If you're going to run a theme, then you really push that theme. If I have 1500 points, and I want to go into, let's say, an assault phase army, so an army that really looks at assaulting, I'm not going to waste points on something that sits at the back of the table just pumping off the occasional long shot. The whole idea behind this list is it gets into the assault phase and dominates. So although you might think, oh well, if I take all assault units, I don't have enough shooting. How am I going to deal with this? How am I going to deal with that? What you have to remember is this is a themed army, therefore it has restrictions. Anyway, you may as well look to maximize the utility of the one thing you're really pushing. So instead of spending 10 points on an upgrade for one guy that makes him better at shooting, you save those 10 points, you add it to the pool for the assault phase. So the things you're going to want in that kind of list are obviously lots of attacks, powerful attacks maybe, and movement, lots of speed so you can get into that assault phase as quick as possible. Now obviously there are loads and loads of different lists. The list is endless. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. But I wanted just to discuss that idea of pouring all your eggs into that one basket if you do a themed list. You're either going to win spectacularly or get absolutely crushed. Now, if that's the way you want to play the game, and to be honest, it's a really fun way of playing the game, then go for it. And I will talk more about specific themed lists in future videos. But in this, I just wanted to talk about if you have a concept in your mind, if you've got an idea you want to go with, first of all, do it. It's awesome. Themed lists are so cool. It's so cool to look across the table and see a theme, and you're just like, yeah, I can appreciate that someone's put effort into this, instead of just a net list, for example. Now, what that theme is depends on what you want to make it. But what I will say, if that's the theme, then you 100% stick to that theme. That's what you focus on. Another good example would be if I was going to play an all-shooting army, and I'm like, well, I don't really have anything to deal with close combat, so I'm going to spend 250 points on some Terminators, just jacked up Terminators, so that I can actually just manage in the assault as well. What you'll find is you won't be able to get enough shooting damage output to make it a shooting army, and then more people will get into close combat. And yes, you've got one unit in a whole army that can deal with it, but so what? They might have 15 units, or maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, 5 units that can deal with the assault phase. So you want to be able to put 100% of your focus on your one theme. Of course, unless it's a fluff theme, where you'll be thinking like, oh, what would Raven Guard bring in this situation? Then you stick to that instead of one particular unit or one particular phase. But fluff lists are kind of different, and I will go into those in another video, like I say. Trying to get a nice broad spectrum of different ways of playing this game, ways of writing lists in this series, so that you can just take away what you want from it, really. Now, the second part of my topic today is there a place for them in competitive gaming? Now, my answer to this is it's very much codex dependent. If you wanted to play a themed shooting list and you picked Tau, yes, it's very easy to be competitive with a shooty Tau list. There's a shock, right? If you wanted to do a themed assault list with the Tau, I would say that's less likely to be competitive. Not impossible, I'm sure people have done it, and I think that'd be kind of cool to see, but again, it's not the optimal way of running Tau, whereas shooting, if you went a themed shooting list for Tau, that would also be competitive. So it's very codex dependent. Now, if you say, I want a whole list of Kroot, and they're going to stand and shoot for you, then I would say possibly less competitive. Now, I'm not saying Kroot are rubbish or anything, because I think they're really cool. But again, is that the best way of bringing Tau? No. Does it fit the Kroot theme? Yes. So, yes, it can be competitive when you manipulate certain codexes. I'll say use certain codexes. Again, the best way to make an assault list is by picking a codex that fits the assault. For example, Khorne Demonkin, that just springs to mind. Taking a super fast, super assault army in Khorne Demonkin is likely to work better than you saying, oh, I'll pick a shooting Khorne Demonkin army. I think you're kind of missing the essence of that codex. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't play these things, because competitive gaming is not the be-all and end-all. For me, it's having a nice time with some buddies, rolling dice, having a laugh. Now, if you get your kick from competitive gaming, then you're probably going to want to build a competitive list instead of a themed list or a fluff list, because whether we like to admit it or not, there are not many ultra fluffy lists that play out competitively. I mean, apart from maybe Necrons and Space Marines, those two have super fluffy competitive, like Decurion Detachment or the Gladius Strike Force. But when it comes down to a lot of other armies, if you play fluffy lists, you're less likely to be in the upper echelons of competitive gaming. Now, that's obviously not the point of today. Today's talk about themes. So, can it be competitive? Depending on the codex, potentially. Are you going to win tournaments every single time? Probably not. But then, can you with any list? I don't know. I am looking forward to getting into some in the future. I do want to have that element sort of ticked off in my box, if you like. And just be like, yeah, I've been to a tournament or I've been to a couple, just so I can really sort of draw from that knowledge that I pick up then and relay it back to you guys. So I know this has been a bit drawn out, but thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your comments below. Let me know what your favourite themed list is, and have you played very competitively with a theme? Like I said, it can work if that theme, if the theme is competitive and you have the right codex. Sure, why not? But bear in mind, if you do go to build a themed list, it may not always be a game winner. Doesn't mean you can't have fun though, and you can still do your best to win. There's no harm in trying to win. You may even learn more about the game that way. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. 2 links in the description below. First one's to the TableTopBanter blog. Harry's been working on some stuff there. And the second is to the Legion of Gamza Facebook page. Go and check them out. Some great content from some absolutely great guys. As ever, it's been me, Callum from Tabletop.